Yeah, once again, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining tonight's examination preparation class of 801, which is research methodology. Tonight, what we are going to do is we are going to look at Mode 1, Mode 2, and the Mode 3 of MIAD 801, which is a research methodology. As the name, sorry. So, as the name implies, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can.
Thank you very much. As the name implies, it says research methodology. And for you to understand this course, you first need to know what is research. What is research? Understand? What is research? So before you try to understand the meaning of research, you just have to know that research is a backbone of all scholarly inquiry. Understand? All type of write-up have to pass through research. That is the backbone of anything you want to call book or knowledge is research. And the word research is coined from two words, and we have the prefix and the suffix, which is re, which is re, and the word search. And when we talk about re, it means to look again, or to or to try, or revision. Understand? So doing something again, that's the re in the word research. And when we talk about search, search on the other hand means to carefully investigate something. Understand? Systematically. So if you have to coin the two words together, research. What is research? What is research? So research, I believe you all have your note there that I gave you. So research is a systematic ways of finding something in a simple term. A systematic ways of finding something academically. That's in a simple term. But in a broad term, it's a logical or systematic or scientific investigation that have to undertake through discovery of new facts, verifying of existing fact or adding to existing knowledge, solving problem, and explaining phenomenon and expanding human knowledge. So when we talk about research, by this definition, you have to know that a person that is doing a research is trying to add to a certain knowledge or verify a knowledge or find a problem. Understand? So when you find a problem, you tend to get a solution to the problem you are finding. So in short, you are trying to investigate systematically something, a knowledge. Understand? So either to add to the knowledge or to look at the gaps in the knowledge. Understand? So we know we are all familiar with the word research, but the characteristics of an academic research, understand? When we talk about research in questions, what are the characteristics of an academic research? The number one characteristic of an academic research is a systematic step, which means your research will pass through systematic approach, following step. If it has to be from head to toe, follow head to toe. Not from introduction to references, not from references to introduction. So systematic approach, that's the first characteristic of a good research. The second one, it has to pass through scientific method. Listen, scientific method. Which method do you want to use to conduct your research? So the method you want to use to conduct your research, it can be maybe called the qualitative method way or the, how do you call it, the quantitative method way. But there has to be a method that your research must pass through. Understand? And the third characteristic of a research is objectives. You cannot embark on a research without having an objective. What is the purpose of the research? Understand? So you have to have an objective. As you are having this class, the objective of this class is for us to pass our examination. Likewise, in a research, there have to be an objective. Understand? So purposeful, it has to have meaning. You don't do a research that cannot that doesn't have meaning. Your research is either your research is trying to fill a gap in the world of academics, or your research is trying to understand, explain a particular phenomenon. So the research must be purposeful in nature. Understand? So why the last one is intellectual? Because all research must pass through intellectual process. That is critical thinking. So before you decide that you want to do a research, there has to be critical thinking. So as I said, I will repeat myself. The first characteristic of research is systematic. The second one is scientific. And the third is objective. The fourth is purposeful, while the last one is intellectual. You understand? So let's say an example now. In our field, international affairs and diplomacy. So if ECOWAS, for instance, want to investigate why is it that there are a lot of coup d'etat, military attack in the West Africa region, if they want to do this kind of research, if they want to know why is it that there have been a lot of military attack in the western region of Africa, what they will do is they will try to collect data, which is information, analyze political pattern of each countries, interview stakeholders, leaders, and draw a conclusion. The process they pass through, collecting data, analyze political pattern, interviewing stakeholder, and bringing out a conclusion to get an answer to their question. That is the process a research must pass through. And when you talk about research does not talk about intuition only. It doesn't talk about intuition or guessing. You don't guess in research. You don't give your intuition. Guessing doesn't work with research. Since you are passing through a systematic approach of finding something. So guessing is out of it. Understand? Am I communicating?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Now, objective of research.
Yes, I can hear you.
Objective of research. When you talk about the objectives of research, we have 4 objectives of research. The first objective of research we have is exploratory research. Exploratory research. So, from the name, exploratory, explore. It is coming from the word explore. When you explore something, understand? So, exploratory research is the kind of research that is tend to get it's tend to help us get new insight, understand, into a poorly understood concept. When you tend to get new insight, new idea, or new understanding into a poorly explained concept, understand? So let's look at Boko Haram, for instance. Listen. So you might be wondering, how is Boko Haram recruiting people? So you can adopt an exploratory research on if your research is how do you call it, objective enough and exploratory enough, you can use explorative objective to conduct your research to understand the pattern of recruitment in Boko Haram. This your research conclusion will also be useful to other terrorist acts around the world, because most terrorist organizations have the same pattern of recruitment. So based on your own research in Africa, other countries, other people, other researchers in another country can make reference to your own. So in short, the exploratory research is a type of research that tend to explore something that has not been understood, a concept that has not been understood. You understand? So or you tend to get a new insight about a concept that was not explained well. You understand? That's about the exploratory research. That's one of the objectives of research. The second one is a descriptive research. Understand? Descriptive objective. So your research can be descriptive in the essence that from the word descriptive, you have the meaning of description. Description, to describe. So a research that has the objective to describe something is the one we tag under this objective of research. So describing something. So it's either you describe a population, an event, or a situation, or a phenomenon. So when you tend to try to describe the voters' behavior in 2023 election, how did people vote? Some people were saying it is Peter Obi, some is saying Atiku, some is saying Tinubu. How was the behavior shaped? How did they shape the behavior? So a researcher might try to understand how the people choose a leader through the electoral behavior. So understand. So in short, the descriptive behavior the descriptive objective of research is tend to know the behavior pattern or the behavior. It's tend to know it's tend to describe something. It can be a population, it can be a situation or a phenomenon. Understand? It's from the word descriptive, objective, descriptive, description, describe. Understand? So even if you don't remember the full meaning or the explanation from the word describe, you can coin out your own understanding. The examination is going to be in theory. So that means that you have to explain based on your own understanding, not cramming. You can cram some concepts, but if you want to explain based on your own understanding, you have to let the lecturer or the examiner know that you know what you are doing. Understand? The third objective of objective of a research is the diagnostic objective. The diagnostic objective, on the other hand, is tend to determine the frequency of an issue or its association with another factor. The frequency of an issue or its association with another factor. Now, let's look at the level of unemployment in Nigeria. So if you want to determine how unemployment rate has influenced crime rate in Nigeria, that means you are trying to diagnose. You want to know the correlation, unemployment and crime rate. Understand? So you want to know the correlation, how they associate, how they meet at the boiling point. That is the diagnostic objective of research. Why the last one? We have many, but the last one I will mention in this class is the hypothesis testing objective. Understand? It's in the note I sent to you, but the last one I will mention is the hypothesis testing objective. So this one tests whether causal relationship exists between variable. Understand? So whether it's in the previous class, I explained the variables and I explained the type of variable we have. But this type of research is trying to tell us whether there is a causal relationship between two variables or two or more variables. Understand? So, example for instance, now when you say increasing Nigerian minimum wage reduce poverty level, is it true? If we increase the minimum wage, will it reduce poverty level? Some might say yes, some might say no. I remember before the minimum wage was 18,000, people complained. They increased it to 30,000. They complained. They increased it to 70,000. But is the poverty level decreasing in Nigeria? The question is left to our researcher to tell us whether poverty rate is decreasing or still maintaining standard or increasing. Understand? So I'm coming. I can see Oluwatoyin that is, and I'm coming. So I mentioned the exploratory, the descriptive, the diagnostic, and the hypothesis testing of object that are under the objective of research. Oluwatoyin, Akintunde want to talk?
Okay, hi Azeez, well done. Thank you. So I want to, I listened to your former recordings and then I was able to glean the type of research, and one of it is research based on objective, I just want to confirm what you just explained. Is it research based on objective you just explained, or
Okay, thank you
a
very much.
broader aspect? So I just want you to clarify
Thank you
that.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So there I'm explaining the objective of research itself. Why do people do the research? What pushed them to do research? Is either you want to do your research to describe something, which is a descriptive, explorative, objective, descriptive objective, or you want to explore something, which is explorative objective. As we are doing our class, everyone has objective. You have your personal objective of coming to this class. You understand? So the objective of research, that is what we are saying. The purpose Titi want to say something? Yeah, Titi want to say something. Is she here? Okay.
So the research objectives, is it now same as types of research?
I'll
Because it's
come
like
to
they
the
have
type of
almost.
research. Thank you very much. You see, the type of research, they are broad, they are classified under some topic, some subtopics. You understand? We will get there. We will get there. So if you are talking about the types of research, you will talk about descriptive research, exploratory research, and the likes. You understand? I understand. Your objective for research will determine your type of research. You understand? The objective before you do your research, you understand? You have your own objective inside. Is either based on your topic or you will know your objectives of research. So the objective of the research will now determine the type of research you want to embark on. You understand, Titi? I don't know whether she's here. Is she? Maybe she should go down. So before we proceed, now the importance of research. Understand? So from the definition of research, you can coin out importance of research. You understand? In the exam, you might forget some key words, but from the definition of research, you can coin out some how do you call it, some importance of research. Understand? So I just want anyone to tell me something we can coin out from the definition of research as an importance of research. Can anyone give me just one or two?
We can say it adds to knowledge.
It adds to knowledge. You understand? Because when you do your research, is either you're trying to find a gap or fill a gap, or you're trying to add to a particular knowledge. Oluwatoyin, you want to say something?
Yes. It helps to improve practice.
It helps to improve practice. You understand? So before COVID-19, teaching online was not common, was not popular, but before COVID-19. Because of COVID-19, some people developed research that, okay, we can do something that even if we are not in the same classroom, everyone can sit down in his house and have how do you call it, teaching. They can understand things. Understand? So research will help you to improve how things are done. That is why we do research. So when you do your research, you're trying to find either to add to a particular knowledge or you're trying to derive something. So in the way of improving the practice of something, either politician. You see, politicians, when they want to know, for instance, now, let's say in Lagos, we want to know how to reduce traffic. Understand? Maybe the way we have been doing before is not working in Lagos, and we want to know how to reduce traffic in Lagos. So research will help us to understand how we can reduce the traffic. Understand? So another person to just give them one, last one.
Can we say it is a systematic process?
Research is a systematic process, but here we are talking about the important. Why is it a systematic process? Why is it done?
Okay, we
Can I say
that it's okay, you're going?
decision making and debate?
What do you say?
Family decision making and debate.
It helps us in our field of international affairs and diplomacy. Research will help us to formulate decision and debate. You might be privileged tomorrow to work in an office whereby you are given a say to say something, but before you say something, it has to be meaningful. And before that thing will be meaningful, something has to come before it. Research has to come with, because they will not give you a topic and you come say something and that thing doesn't make any sense. So you see people in the House of Assembly and House of Senate, that's why they have aides. Those aides they have, sometimes they give them work. Go and do research on this thing. Based on your findings, you bring it, I'll talk about it. Some of them, they don't have time to do the research, but they have aides that will do the research for them and give them and table it to them. So in our field, international affairs and diplomacy, research helps to it helps us to easily make decision and in the base time. Understand? So let's say, for instance, the Nigerian government are trying to currently, I think they are increasing tax, right? They're increasing tax in Nigeria. I think somebody sent me in by WhatsApp that you see what the government is doing. So they're increasing tax. Do you think that they take that decision out of nowhere? It's not possible for the government, for a whole Nigerian, to increase tax without doing a research. The person, someone sent me among you that they increase the rate, and we're discussing about it. I said, if I'm living in Nigeria, I'll be okay to pay the tax. Because in UK, I'm paying 20% tax on all my earning. I'm paying 20. Why, if for my main job, I pay 12% tax. For my second job, I pay 20% tax. So me living in Nigeria, I'm okay with it because I've experienced this in another country. But some Nigerians that have not experienced it, they might find it very difficult to bear with it. They will say Tinubu is bringing in an ash policy, whereas it's not an ash policy. So it's a way just to improve the country. So before Tinubu will bring that policy of increasing the tax, they've passed through research. They will not come out and just bring something out to Nigerians. They know Nigerian will shout. They know Nigerian will just insult them on social media. But at the end, Nigeria will endure. That is it. Understand? So that's the importance of research. Now we'll proceed. We want to proceed to the types of research. I think Titi asked a question that is the objective of research same thing as the type of research? Objective is different. Objective is different from the type, but your objective is going to guide you to know the types of research you want to embark on. Understand? If I'm too fast, can you let me know, please? Am I too fast?
No, it's okay.
Thank you very much. Now, the objective of research is broadly categorized under three dimensions. Understand? So is categorized under three dimensions. So and we have research based on objectives, research based on the general view. Understand? And the last one we have is the research based on inquiry mode. Understand? We'll just talk about these three and I'll explain now. Now, the research based on the general classification. That is, all research are classified under two segments. We have the pure research and we have the applied research. You understand? Now, for those people that attended the first MIAD 801 revision I did, what is a pure research? When you say a research is pure, what is a pure research?
It is, can I speak?
Yeah, you can speak.
Pure research is just done to develop knowledge, not to solve a problem.
Okay. It's a research that
just
is
to
done
develop your knowledge.
to develop
Yes.
a knowledge, to add to a knowledge.
Yes, to add knowledge, yes.
To add to a knowledge. Okay, good. Anyone to add to what she said now?
Just conducted to expand knowledge without practical rules.
Thank you very much. To add to knowledge, to expand a knowledge. You understand? So not necessarily done to solve an immediate problem. You understand? It might solve problem in the next 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, but not done to immediately solve a problem. Understand? It's done to expand or to add to a particular knowledge. Understand? Now, what about the applied research?
That one is done to solve a particular problem.
Thank you very much.
It's like opposite of it. Yes.
So when you say pure research, that one is not done to solve an immediate problem, but just done to add or expand a knowledge. But the applied research is done to solve an immediate problem. Understand? So the applied research is conducted to solve specific problem. Understand? It's done to solve a specific problem. The other one is done to add to a knowledge or expand a knowledge. It might be useful to solve a problem, but not an immediate problem. Yes, son. Now, research based on objective. Under the research based on objective, based on the question that Titi asked, the research based on objective, we have the descriptive research, we have the correlational research, the exploratory, the explanatory research. Now, as I said, your objective, will guide you to know the kind or the type, the types of research you want to do. When you say a research, descriptive research, can anyone explain that one to me? We are doing the class together. So descriptive research under the objective research type, research types of research under the objective. So descriptive research.
So
I
from
think-
the word descriptive, okay.
Okay, Awa want to talk. Let Awa talk.
Okay, from the word descriptive, I think it describes, you describe a research, like you describe the problem or whatever it is you're trying to make research on.
Can you give us an example? Just think. We are learning. Don't worry. Just think about something and give something.
Okay. So let's say, for example, you're trying to know a cause of a problem, or maybe, for example, okay, in a community, they have issues of water. There's no water in that community. So you try to make research describing the reasons why they don't have water. What is the reason? What are those reasons that they don't have water in that community?
Okay, that's good. So when you're in the examination and they bring all these concepts, try to give an example that is contemporary example. The way you did now, that's how it's supposed to be. Not just to define. You define and you bring contemporary example. After your definition, you say, for instance, now in a community where there is no water, understand, and you explain. Because your contemporary example is going to buttress your definition, which means that you understand what you are saying. You understand? Now, when we talk about a correlational research or correlative research, what does that mean? Anyone to help on this one?
Okay. I think it's a research that shows the relationship between one or more things, or two or more things, or one. Shows the relationship.
Okay, good. It shows the relationship between two or more variables.
Two or more variables.
Understand? So, example, can you give an example now?
Cool. If I want to see the relationship between insecurity and poverty in the Northeast.
Thank you very much. What is the relationship between insecurity and poverty in the northeastern part of Nigeria? Some people might say there is a relationship, maybe because of poverty. Some people are joining those terrorist group or bandits. There might be a relationship and there might not be a relationship. Understand? So you are trying to find a correlation, how they correlate together, how they link together somewhere. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. What about the explanatory research?
I think it attempts to clarify why and how there is a relationship between two or more aspects of a situation.
Thank you very much. It clarifies why. Explanatory, you try to explain why there is a relationship. You understand? Anyone to buttress that one? Who's talk down? I think
it's Miss Selena.
Okay, Selena.
I think it gives more details. It gives full details of it about the situation. Like
example.
Okay. If I'm to give an example on explanatory research, you to give let's say why is there an issue of insecurity in the Northeast, or rather why, or I don't know how to put this.
Put it anyhow you want to put it. Just try.
Okay. Why does poverty increase insecurity in the Northeast?
Why does
I'm going
poverty
to go back on
insecurity? Thank you very much. Why does poverty increase insecurity? You want to explain. Exploratory. So you want to explain. And the last one we have is exploratory from the name. Exploratory. What does that mean? Can anyone help us here? Please, we are all talking. We are learning and we are all talking together. Understand?
From the name exploratory is like going an extra mile, like exploring, like making findings, extra findings. I
It's
don't know if
making,
I'm.
finding, exploring new insights. Maybe
Yeah.
someone did a research. Let me move this person. Please, if you are here, just mute yourself. So maybe someone did the research, and that research the person did, there is a gap in that research. Understand? And you want to explore something regarding that research. Understand? So example, we will give an example on exploratory research.
Let me try, sir.
Okay, sir.
Assuming there has been a research on why on the military the fight against insurgency in the Northeast, then you decide to take an exploratory research on why has the military not been able to defeat the Boko Haram insurgents in the Northeast.
Okay. Although there have been policies, there have been plans to defeat them, but once
Yes.
they defeat them, they come again. Once they defeat them, they come again. You want to explore why
Yes, they've not
has
been able
they
to
not been
achieve
in
that. Why?
extinction? Like, why is this still
Yeah.
existing? No. So far as someone said online that Nigeria went to Benin Republic for 4 hours and stopped the coup. Why can't Nigeria do the same thing in Nigeria? Why the Nigerian military do the same thing in Nigeria? Listen, the exploratory research will answer that question. Why is it that we went to Benin Republic to stop military coup in 4 hours? But why can't we stop insecurity in Nigeria the same way we did in another country? So the exploratory research we'll try to analyze that aspect that the researchers have not been doing. Maybe they've done a research on insecurity and how to defend, how to protect the country, but they might not explore the area of how to defeat totally insecurity or banditry in Nigeria. You understand? Now we proceed now to classification of research based on the inquiry mode. Under this one, we have the structured one and the unstructured one. Structured type of research and the unstructured type of research. So the structured type of research is the quantitative type of research, while the unstructured part is the qualitative type of research. You know what? The qualitative and the quantitative type of research, we will broadly explain it in front because there is a topic only on that one. So we'll discuss in that one later in tonight's session. So the last one we have is the normal and the revolutionary research, but it's not as this one, the normal and the revolutionary research is not as generally acceptable. But I put it in my work here that I sent to you because I asked a lecturer a question on that. I like challenging lecture. I don't know why. So I asked the lecturer, but he mentioned that it's not generally acceptable. So I accept that. So far, he's a professor. He knows what he's saying. So I will not talk about that one. Now, characteristics of a good research. When you conduct your research, listen, your research has to have 6 things. Listen, that is, if your research is not having this thing, that means it's not good enough. It can be good, but not good enough. You understand? So, number one, it has to control. It has to pass to control. That is some methodological system. Listen, control. That's number one. Aside from that one, you see, we call something ethical. How do you call ethics in research? So you cannot do your research without putting an ethics there. Doctors have ethics of their work. Researchers have ethics. Even teachers have ethics. Understand? As I'm teaching, I know what I need to do. I know what I'm supposed not to do in my class. Understand? So control. Number one, rigorous enough, systematic enough. Research has to pass through systematic process, valid and verifiable. Any research you do, you must verify. Another person should be able to verify if your outcome is good or not good. If your outcome is not good, that means there is a gap that another researcher will work on. But if it's good, perfect. Understand? Empirical, you need to pass through empirical study. Understand? You need to pass through empirical process of getting your data. Understand? And the last one is critical. Critical means that you must critically pass through some process to get it. Understand? So research is not done because I just wish to do something. It is done to get a conclusion, which is an answer. or fill a gap or add an answer to an existing gap. Understand? So you add a knowledge to something, you fill a gap to get an outcome. So if you intend to do the research, that means you are expecting an outcome. That's why in all research, you will see conclusion. In conclusion, where the researcher explain the outcome of what he or she did. Understand? Are we communicating?
Yes.
Thank you very much. We'll proceed. If I'm too fast, just let me know I'm too fast and we'll stop. You understand? So now we'll proceed to the ethics in ethical issues in research.
But please, before we proceed, I have a question.
You can ask a question.
Please, this classification of research, is it the same thing as types of research?
Okay, thank you very much. So it's same thing as type of research, but when you say type of research, the types of research is into like 3 broad subtopic. Understand? So you say type of research, classification based on general research. You talk about the pure, you talk about applied research. Based on objective. You talk about the descriptive, the exploratory, and the lies. You understand? So it's still the types, but the types is they group them into segments. For instance, type of student doing MIAD, Master in International Affairs and Diplomacy. Some of us, we are grouped under a lecturer. Some of us, we are grouped under another lecturer. Some people have class 8 p.m., while some of us, we don't have class 8 p.m. But we are all under MIAD, but we are grouped differently. Understand? And our outcome is to do MIAD. The outcome of all this type of research we mentioned, even pure research, quantitative, qualitative, descriptive, and all of them pass through the same process, systematic approach of finding something or adding a knowledge to a particular thing. You understand? So all of them are research, but they just group them under subheading. I don't know whether I answer your question.
Okay, so I have a question. Yeah, this the normal and revolutionary research are they under types of research or classification of research?
Thank you very much. The reason why I didn't talk about it is because, as I said, I challenged a lecturer. I asked a question in the class, but the lecturer said it's not generally acceptable. That's why I didn't want to talk about it. You understand now? So they stand on their own. You understand now? They just stand on their own as a qualitative and a quantitative stand on their own. But the lecturer said, this is social science. And in social science, everyone has his point of view. When you bring your own point of view, another person will against it. So, but the lecturer said it's not generally acceptable. That's why I didn't want to talk about it. So, I think let's just leave it like that. As he mentioned, it's not. But if you read the handout I sent, the material I sent you, you will understand that it has a meaning. But some professors say that it's not generally acceptable. And that we should just leave it under the general classification, the objective classification, and the method of inquiry classification. Listen. Did I answer your question?
Excuse me, please. Yes, it's answered. Mr. Akanji?
Yes.
Assuming this question comes after the exams, are we in the types of the research? Are we writing the descriptive research, or correlational research, or the pure research?
If they ask you the types of research, you understand them. The types of research are broadly grouped into 3 categories.
Yes.
Based on purpose, based on objective, and based on method of inquiry.
Okay.
You understand? Based on purpose, the pure and the applied. Based on the objective, descriptive, exploratory. You understand? You list them, correlative. Based on the method of inquiry, quantitative and qualitative.
Quantitative, okay.
Do you understand?
I understand.
And you explain them. So, but what the advice I would give is when you explain any topic, any concept in in research, give contemporary example. As I asked some of you now, and they give an example of how the topic should look like. Understand? That is why if you read my note I sent you, you see that there is example I give so as to give you an idea of what exactly we meant by this concept. Understand?
Okay. Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, we proceed now. Ethical issues in research. All field in the world has ethics they need to pass through. If you are doing customer service, one of the ethics is privacy and confidentiality, because you have some sensitive information of customers. If you're a doctor, you also have your ethics. Teachers have it. All field of work have something that they must respect. Likewise, in research, they have ethics. We have ethics in research. Understand? So, because when you do your research, you mostly deal with human being. Understand? Human being must participate there. And those people that participate, you have to protect them from risk, either emotional risk, physical risk, psychological risk, or social risk. You need to protect them. Aside from protecting them, you protect yourself and the institution you are working for. You understand? So the ethics in research, what is ethics itself? Understand? What is ethics itself? Who can explain it? What is ethics?
It's a set of rules.
What?
I
What is
said there are a
ethics?
set of rules, like
Okay.
rules or principles guiding something.
Okay. There are set of rules, principles
Rules or
guiding something. Okay.
Guiding.
Okay, guiding something. Good.
Yes.
Any other contribution? Any other contribution? Okay, if there's no other contribution, let us take our own set of rules guiding something. Now, in research, ethics constitute the central pillar of a research, because most research deal with human participation. Understand? So, ethical consideration would try to tell us how to protect the rights of the researcher, the dignity of the researcher, or the welfare of the participant in the research. You understand? So, we have two types of ethical, two types of research that involve human being. You understand? So, we have the therapeutic research and the non-therapeutic research. You understand? So, when you conduct your research in social science, I make reference to social science because we are in social science field. So when you conduct your research in social science, you are likely to have women to participate in your research. You understand? So either your research is either therapeutic or non-therapeutic. So when you say therapeutic, is like a research that is tending to find a solution, helping someone. The non-therapeutic is not trying to help the person directly, but trying to help the whole society. Understand? Now, if you are doing a research that is trying to involve human being, that is trying to help human being, understand? You should be able to be conscious. Let me just get an example now. People in diplomacy, international affairs and diplomacy, people working as diplomats, understand? They tend to have this kind of research they do on refugees, internally displaced people, understand? Victims of conflict. So you have refugees, you have internally displaced people, you have victims of conflict. Mentally, some of them might not be stable again because they lost the family, the house, and the lives. So if you want to conduct research on these people, ethics is going to guide you on what you should do and what not to do. Because if you do something that's supposed not to be done, you will be in problem. Understand? Maybe you do a research now and someone say, don't show my face, and you want to go and show his face. The person can sue you indirectly. Understand? So why is ethics done? Why ethic research? Ethically, or why is it that there is ethic in research? Let me put it like that. Number one reason is to protect the participants involved. You tend to protect the participants involved in your research. The number two is protect yourself. You, the researcher, you tend to protect yourself. It's not because you want to do your research and you are living in North. You say that it's Sambisa forest that you want to go. You want to enter Sambisa forest to go and do your research. You will end up paying ransom. Listen, you need to protect. Yes, now you end up paying ransom because you want to do your research on security. Just decide that it's Sambisa because you are living in North. You say you're Sambisa forest. You want to go and do your research. You end up paying ransom. So the ethics in research will protect the participant involved. It will protect you, the researcher, and also defend your institution. Ahmadu Bello University will ask you to do research in second semester. So the research you do in second semester, understand, you have to pass through ethics. So you're defending your institution when it is done properly. Understand? Why the last one is meet requirement of funders in academics. There are requirements, there are steps you need to follow in research. So if those steps are not followed, the research will not be complete. It's like a doctor that want to do surgery, a surgeon that want to do surgery without wearing gloves. It's impossible. In any part of the world, it's impossible. You see a surgeon want to do surgery without gloves. It's impossible. You understand? So the same thing applicable to research. There have been set rules and regulations, guidelines has been placed that you must follow to protect you yourself, the participant, your institution, and the funding fathers in the field. Am I talking? Can I proceed?
Yes.
Can you come back?
I should come back. What do you say?
Yeah.
The
ethical.
I say why there have to be ethical approval. Why is ethical approval necessary? Why you must apply ethics in research? You understand now? So, and we said somebody has explained the research that the guideline they put that you must respect before you conduct a research as ethics. Understand? Now we now ask why there must be research ethics in research. The number one is protecting the participants. Understand? Protecting the participants. Some of them you are protecting their right, their dignity, their image, their welfare. Understand? Especially the vulnerable people among them. You might see some blind people, you might see some people that just lost all their family. So you must protect them, protecting the participants involved in your research. Understand? Some people you go and interview them, maybe your research is by interviewing them, and most time when you interview, you can do your video, but if the person asks you not to show his face, do not show the face. That is the principle. That is ethics. Do not show my face. If the person said, do not mention my name, do not mention my name. That is why in some news, when you read some news, you will see that they'll put anonymous. They will put anonymous. They will not want to put the name of the person because mentioning the name of the person means that the person can be traced and they can harm the person. So you need to protect the person. The number two is protecting you yourself, the researcher. Let me move this person, Titi. Protecting you, the researcher. Understand? You yourself as a researcher, you must protect it. We tell you that there are some things you will not do. Do not take some risk. It's true that you want outcome, you want good result, but run away from risk that will take out your life. Understand? So going to, I'm coming. Fatima is asking, raising her hand, I'm coming. And I mentioned also, how do you call it? Defend the institution reputation. Listen, if you made a mistake in your ethics, in your research that is ethically a wrong step, that means you are spoiling the name of the institution you are doing the research for. Listen, imagine you want to go and do research in Sambisa Forest and they catch you and they ask your family to pay ransom, 100 million. They will ask, the first question they will ask is, who asked the person to do research? Is Ahmadu Bello University. Everybody will be tagging Ahmadu Bello University. Ahmadu Bello University asked the student to go and do research in Sambisa Forest. So, listen. So there are some research we tell you not, the ethics we tell you not to take some risk. Understand? Why the last one is that you need to meet the requirement of funding fathers. There have been requirements you need to follow. So if you don't follow this requirement, your research will not be complete. Understand? Can I proceed?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. We'll proceed to ethical principle underpinning researchers. Understand? Ethical principle underpinning researcher. When you say ethical principle underpinning researcher, we mean that something that force that I don't know how to say it in English, but something that make researcher to be compliance.
Like guiding principles.
Something that make them to be compliance, guiding principle. Understand? You must comply it with it. Understand? The number one is autonomy. The right of your research or of the participant involved. Autonomy. The people you are interrogating, the people you are doing your research, they must also have a say. Understand? They must have the right to decide what they want also. It's not that you just go and meet them and just interrogate them and they will not say something. Let them have a say. Okay, please, why are you doing this thing? Let them know the reason. Understand? Let them know the reason why you are doing it. They must have a say. And number 3 is free and informed consent. They must give you their own consent to do the research. Understand? They must give you the consent to do the research. Understand? And the participant you are interrogating, you are doing your research on, they must know the purpose of your research, the risk involved, the benefit they will gain, how the society will gain. Understand? And also they must know if they can be withdrawn from the research or they cannot withdraw. If you tell them that this research you are doing, or if you are starting, you cannot go back home. That means you've explained to them from the beginning. Let me move this person, please. Let me move this person, Kate. So, another, how do you call ethical principle underpinning research is veracity. You must not lie to convince your research, your participants. Understand? When you want to do the research, do not lie to them. Let them know why you are doing the research. Understand? Do not lie to them. So, because if you lie and it eventually comes out, it's going to be it's going to undermine or affect your own personal research. Understand? And the following one is respect to vulnerable. Respect for the vulnerable. Understand? Children involved, elderly people, the mentally impaired people, the prisoners. Understand? You need to respect them. Some people, they don't know how to talk. You're going to do research and you will insulting them. No. You need to just find a way to respect those people you are, the participant involved in your research. Understand? So the most important thing to me is privacy and confidentiality. You will see bankers. Bankers will have information of all their customers. They will know how much is in their account. They will know their address. They will know their number. But the ethics in their work seller, do not call a customer if not for work purpose. Do not disclose the bank statement of a worker. They have ethics. Understand? So privacy and confidentiality. It's like you, let's say someone now, you don't know how to keep secrets. You want to go and do a research, and after that, you just post it on your social media. Especially those people that like posting everything on social media, taking selfie. There should be confidentiality. You understand? You must not expose some personal data to people. You can post your picture, you can post your story that you are in a social village to do your research, but personal data, personal information, you must not show that. Understand? Justice and inclusion. All groups should be included. You must not say, okay, you are doing a research in the northern part of Nigeria, you just take only name maybe a tribe and leave another tribe. Or you want to do research in Lagos, you just take a tribe and leave another tribe. No. There must be justice and fairness. Understand? And benefit in your research must outweigh your risk. Your research might have risk, but the benefit in your research must be greater than the risk in your research. Understand? Can I proceed?
Yes.
Now, we proceed to the ethical issues in the research itself. Some issues in the research itself that are ethical issues. And so let's say you are done with your research, you want to write everything now. You are trying to put down your work to compile it together to be one. Number one, your research design. Your research design. You say your research design must minimize harm, potential harm.
Please, sorry, the subheading. What did you say?
Ethical issues. Ethical issues in the research process itself. The process of the research in the problem. Let's say the problem, ethical problem in the research process itself that are issues that you must comply with. Understand that? Some things you must comply with in the process itself. Understand? So when I say when doing if you are doing your research design, you must make sure that your research design must the benefits you are putting there must outweigh the risk. The design must minimize harm. It should not harm you, nor your institution, or the participant involved. Understand? And the sampling. The sampling is when you do your research, you have to take samples of who you want to do your research on. Let's say you want to do research on in the northeastern part of Nigeria. So please, if you are entering, just mute yourself, sir. So sampling, it involves taking a segment out of a whole. You understand now? So now, sample size must justify your research. So you want to do a research on the northern east part of Nigeria, for instance. The population in the northeastern part of Nigeria is too much. So instead of talking to all people living in the northeast part of Nigeria, you take a sample that will represent the whole northeast part of Nigeria. Yes, and so that sample you need to take must you must protect the vulnerable among those samples you will take. Yes, and your data collection, if you're in the process of taking your data, taking your information from left and right, you need to avoid duplication, plagiarism, coercion, manipulation, deception. So, like if you want to take your information from people, do not change, do not manipulate information. Understand? So, and also you need to put it in mind that in how you will manage unforeseen circumstances. So, because in doing your research, you must have plan B. The plan B is that you want to do research somewhere. For example, you want to go and do research somewhere, like for instance now, and you are interviewing someone, and all of a sudden the person is now crying. You as a researcher, what should we do? You will not be laughing. Your plan B is just to be emotional also. Just that, oh, sorry, my sister, sorry, my brother. You just start to be emotional. So your plan B has to be involved also. Because some people, they are vulnerable, and you need to put yourself in their shoe. So what you are expecting might not be what you will see when you go to the field. So when you get to the field, you now adapt yourself to what you are seeing in the field. That's bringing you to preparing yourself for the unforeseen circumstances that might happen while doing your research. Understand? So we'll proceed. Can we proceed? If you have question, you can ask question, please. Can I proceed?
7 minutes.
What is it? You have class?
Yes, by 8.
If you have class, you can go continue. I'll send you I'll send a link, but the link might not be visible to everyone, but I know how to do it. Don't worry. I'll send the links or something. Okay. So you can just go if your class has
class is recorded.
It's recorded, yeah. It's recorded.
Thanks.
It's recorded, but if you check it on YouTube, you might not see it on YouTube unless you follow the link I will give you.
Please also send the link to me. I'm going to class as well. Thank you.
Problem, no problem. I'll send it to the group.
Thank you very much. You're also having class.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
You can just go and we'll continue.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
now,
thank you.
We want to
Bye-bye.
talk about qualitative and quantitative research. I said we will talk about it later. So now we're talking about qualitative and quantitative research. From the name quantitative, or let's say from the name qualitative, understand, and the name quantitative. So can anyone tell me what is a qualitative research? Qualitative. What is qualitative research? If you attend my first class on this one or second class.
Okay. From what the name implies, qualitative, it has to do with the quality of your work.
Okay. Continue. I'm listening to you.
I don't know much. Somebody should help me out, please.
Okay, somebody to bail out. You try.
All right. Let me help a bit. All right. So from the word qualitative, it answers the question of why. So when we're talking about qualitative research, it kind of explore or answer question around why is a phenomenon happening, why is this so, and I think basically unlike quantitative that speaks to numbers, how much, so qualitative does more. I am more of asking why,
Thank you very
and
much.
yeah, that. Thank you.
So, qualitative research examine the feelings, the experience, the meaning, the process of phenomenon, or how do you call it, social context of phenomenon. You understand? So,
So sorry, can we say this one? It doesn't deal with numbers. It's not
it doesn't deal
numerical.
with numbers. It doesn't deal with
Okay.
numbers. You understand?
Okay, and it's unstructured, right? It's not structured.
It's unstructured. Thank you very much. Unstructured.
Mm.
It doesn't deal with numbers. You understand? So, because the quantitative one deals with number. You understand? So, let's say, example now. Can anyone give a topic that is qualitative? Can anyone give me a topic that's qualitative? Please, who is the person that just speak now? Who is the person? Who was the person? Who speak now with me now? Who answered that question now? Is it Mr. Yusuf Zakari?
Okay. No, which one? There is
No, okay,
structured or
you,
no?
okay. Okay, it's Yusuf Zakari. It's okay, it's okay. I just want to confirm the person that just speak now.
Okay, yeah.
Now, who can give me example of a topic that is qualitative in nature? Okay, let me just give you an example now.
Can I give an example?
Okay.
An example of a qualitative or quantitative, you said?
Qualitative.
Okay, we can ask a question about, let's say, why is the falling standard of education in Nigeria? It's like a simple one, just to ask why.
Continue the sentence. The sentence is not complete.
Yeah, I think it's very short as I just thought of it.
Can you repeat that sentence, please?
Okay, to ask question on, let's say, why is education what is the education, what is the falling standard of education in Nigeria, or why is education not, maybe, how would I put it?
Thank you very much. Exploring how the quality of education in Nigeria is low in some parts of Nigeria. Maybe you can take any, maybe southeast, maybe northeast, northwest, or south. So here you are not talking about number. You are trying to, even your participants, they are not dealing with numbers here. You are trying to know why something is happening in this manner and how you can find a solution. You understand? That's the qualitative research. And on the other hand, the quantitative research, when you talk about the nature of the quantitative research, from the name quantity, you talk about numbers, statistical
Sorry,
numbers.
can I add one example again? I don't know if it's correct.
Okay.
Maybe can I say like maybe how does insecurity maybe affect poverty in Borno State or something, or
Thank
in
you very much.
Campus?
How does insecurity affect, how does poverty affect insecurity, or how does insecurity
Sorry, how does
affect
poverty?
poverty?
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So
How does
in
poverty?
Borno State,
Yes.
you understand, it is also making sense. You understand? So that's qualitative. Because when you go to the field, you are not dealing with numbers now. You want to go and meet people, the feeling, the experience, the perception. Understand? So you are trying to know the social context of poverty and insecurity. That's qualitative research on its own. You understand? So on the other hand of quantitative research, that one deal with numerical measurement, statistical information. Understand? In testing hypotheses. Understand? That way you talk about numbers of people. Understand? So now, example, who can give me an example of a quantitative research topic or subject, an example of quantitative research? Anyone to give me an example of quantitative research?
what is the population of let's say population of children who are affected by cholera in the southeastern region?
Thank you very much. Population of children affected with cholera disease in the southeastern region of Nigeria from 2015 to 2025. Here we are trying to know numbers. And aside from knowing numbers, our research is based on a certain kind of a certain year. You understand? So you are trying to know the correlation of cholera disease, and people affected with such disease, the children involved. You understand? Somebody wanted to give an example before you talk.
Sorry, please, I'm dropping out. We have 801 class.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Okay, so another example. I would say maybe I want to do research on the number of voters in let me say the number of voters in Kaduna State, or let's say in Abuja. Okay. In the general 2003 election. I don't know how to put it.
Ademola, no problem. So what happened is measuring the numbers of voters that voted in the last election in the Kaduna state. Listen, so all this kind of research whereby you tend to deal with numbers, you should know that you are dealing with quantitative research. But when you don't deal with numbers, you deal with qualitative research. Listen, so we'll proceed. I think some people just left because they have class, 8 p.m. class. And if you know you have class, you can go. Don't worry. We'll continue, and you will have your recording later. Titi, want to ask question?
All right. Thank you so much. I'm also dropping out.
Titi, have a question?
Please, I want to be clear.
Okay.
If I say the influence of foreign TV programs on Nigerian youth, I want to know the influence of foreign TV programs on Nigerian youth.
Okay.
Is that qualitative?
Let someone answer for you. Let Mr. Yusuf answer that one. Okay, yes, class. Okay.
I think that is under quality.
No, I'm here. I don't have class.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there? So, who is answering the question now?
I am.
Okay, why is it qualitative?
Okay, because it's not talking about numbers. It's talking about, if I get her question, it's talking about meaning or perception.
It's a social concept, context. You understand? So it doesn't talk about numbers. Understand? Titi, you want to add something to it? You raise your hand. She's not here. Maybe a network. Thank you very much. Okay. So the question she asked is qualitative, not quantitative. You understand? Maybe she will join us. Maybe she raised her hand and she dropped and she was.
I'm with you.
Okay.
Guys.
I thought you wanted something.
Yeah. No.
Okay. Did she answer your question?
I was a bit confused. That was my project topic undergraduate. So I wanted to.
It is qualitative.
Okay.
Yes, and thank you very much. Thank you very much for this question. We are here to interact and try to understand things. Once you understand, even if you don't remember everything in the exam, you can try to develop your point based on your understanding. So now let's move to research.
Question regarding a topic. I want to know if it's qualitative or quantitative.
Okay, you can ask your question.
So if I say, for instance, examining the different types of insurgent groups in northern Nigeria, is it under qualitative or quantitative?
Before we answer that question, do you know the meaning of qualitative?
Yes, I do.
Thank you very much. If you do, let me just take someone to answer this question for you. Mr. Yusuf is there. Mr. Zakari.
I think it's qualitative.
It's qualitative.
It's qualitative.
It's
Because
qualitative.
it's not talking about numbers. So I know because of the group, maybe she thought because of the
Yes,
group
because of the different types. So I was thinking.
different. So I think it's still qualitative. It's not
Still qualitative. Listen now. So that's it. Now we'll proceed now. Research problem. What is research problem? You understand? What is research problem? A research problem refers to an area of concern, difficulty, or gap involved in a knowledge. A gap in knowledge, rather. So research problem, when you do your research, you tend to add to an existing knowledge or you tend to fill a gap. So now we are talking about the research. That gap you are filling is a research problem. Now, the research problem means that it refers to an area of concern, difficulty, or a gap in knowledge that requires systematic investigation. A problem that is research, that's a research problem. It refers to area of concern, difficulty, or gap in knowledge that requires systematic investigation. You understand? So that gap in a knowledge that requires systematic investigation, that thing that push us to do research, that problem, that's what they call the research problem. You understand? So it's also the engine, like the backbone of the entire research process. Because without a research problem, why are we doing a research? If there's no problem, why are we doing a research? You understand? Without a clearly defined research problem, your research is going to be directionless. You will not have a direction of where to go to do your research. It's because your research, you need to have a research problem to know where you are going. It's like a patient in an hospital, sick, and they ask you, what is wrong with you? I'm having headache or I'm having stomach pain. So if you mention that you're having stomach pain, you're having headache, that will tell the doctor the direction of where to go. But you enter an hospital and they ask you what is wrong with you, you cannot talk. That will make the doctor to be lost. The same thing in research. The research problem will tell you the type of research, the method, the instrument you should use, your scope. You understand? It would let you know your direction, your scope, and the relevance of what you want to do. So without knowing the research problem, you will not know where to go. You will not have a direction. You understand? So a research problem, it's the gap in the knowledge. Understand? A gap in the knowledge. Understand? A problem. When we say gap here, we just mean problem. But in this context, we just say gap. Understand? A gap in the knowledge. An issue that require investigation, something that you need to investigate on it. Understand? Or something that you need solution. Understand? Or something that needs an answer that has not yet been answered. So that's the research problem. Understand? So the research problem will exist because without a research problem, your research cannot proceed. So you will always have a research problem. What are the characteristics of a research problem? Characteristics of a research problem. The number one characteristic of a research problem is, anybody to answer this one for me? Anybody to answer?
Can we say identifying the problem?
We are coming there. That's not where we are going. We are coming there. That's the theoretical framework. That one you mentioned is under the theoretical framework, but we'll get there. Understand?
Can I contribute?
Yeah, sure.
It has to be clear in the sense that it should be free from ambiguity.
It should be free from ambiguity. Your research problem should be free from ambiguity. Understand? Let's say you want to do your research on the effect of corruption in a political administration, for instance. Let's say you are living in Lagos. Listen, so the research problem you want to do, you already know that you want to do your research in Lagos. Do not put another state in your research, you've mentioned that your scope of research is Lagos State and all its local government. Do not put another state in it because it will bring ambiguity. Understand? Another one is specific. It has to be specific enough. Your research problem has to be, the characteristics is specific enough. Understand? As I mentioned, it should be something you can manage, you can study. Not should be something very broad that you cannot study. Understand? So you narrow down your research problem to a manageable size, something that can be studied, something that you can easily understand. Understand? So you are talking about corruption in a particular state. Sorry, let me do that. So you are talking about research problem of research in a particular state. You should not bring it out to something you cannot manage. If it's a local government you want to do your research on, change your research topic to be corruption in this particular local government. Because of, you see, when you do your research also, you need to consider your pocket. If you can travel, if you can move around all the states, all the local government. If it's only one local government you want to do your research on that particular local government and stop there. Understand? So the research problem also needs to be specific enough. Understand? It has to be researchable. Understand? The topic you want to research on should be something that can be researched. It should not be something that you cannot research. It should not be something that you cannot research. Understand? And it must be significant. Your research problem has to be significant enough. That is to say, if it is not significant, you will ask yourself, why are you doing the research? Because at the end result of research, you intend to add to a particular knowledge or to improve something or to help something. Listen, so if the research problem is not significant, you will not be able to add to a particular knowledge. Understand? And ethically, it must be feasible. Understand? You should not expose, the research problem should not expose people to unnecessary harm. Understand? So this is about the research problem. Now, where do you get your research problem? Before you do your research, when you say research, from the definition of research, you are trying to get a gap, you are trying to fill a gap, you are trying to find a solution to something. You understand now? But where do you get that research problem itself? Listen, there are five places you can get your research problem. Understand? The number one is the professional experience or your personal motive. What do you like? What do you eat in a society? Based on what you ate in a society, you can bring out your research topic. Or what do you like in the society? So your personal interest. Because if your personal interest is guiding you to do research, you will do the research very well. That's number one. So in the handout I sent you, in the material I sent you, I said a diplomat might observe the bilateral relation weaken when communication channels are informal. If Nigeria and Benin Republic, they are talking. Let me just leave Benin Republic and me. The teacher, and you listening to me. So, if the relationship between us is too informal, understand, the relationship might not be strong. It has to be both, sometimes informal, sometimes it has to be formal. Understand? But if it's too informal, understand? So you cannot take a topic from it. Understand now? For instance, the topic you can just take, let me just take a topic from it. The teacher-student relationship weaken academic performance of students. Teacher-student relationship weaken academic performance of students. I'm just giving us as an example now. Listen now, like the relationship between teacher, we are all students too. I'm just giving an example. The relationship between teacher and you can weaken the academic performance of students. Some might say, yes, it's a problem. It's a research problem. It's a problem. You understand? Some might do research on it. Some might say yes. Some might say no. But when you do your research, when you bring out the research problem, when you do your research, the outcome will determine if it weakens the outcome of students. Okay, sources. So someone say, somebody say, can you retake the sources again? The network was breaking. Can you hear me? Please, can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Someone said the network was breaking. Am I the only one here? Hello?
I can hear you now. The network was breaking before.
So
Thank you.
can hear you now. I can
Thank
hear
you.
you.
So I said
can
sources of research problem. Where do you get research problem? You need to put in your mind that when you say research, we are trying to fill a gap. So that gap you are feeling is a problem. Also now, or we are trying to find a solution to an existing knowledge. So that gap is a problem. Now, the research problem, where you get sources of research problem, there are 5. Number 1 is your personal experience or your personal interest or your motivation. You understand now? So what you see in your area will determine the topic. It will bring you an interest to understand why is it happening, why is it phenomenon happening in my area. That why you are trying to find answer to it, you can coin in a research problem from it, and that research problem will serve as the basis of your research. I've given an example now that as you are doing, I'm doing teacher and you are doing student, for instance. Now we can just say relationship between teacher-student relationship weaken academic performance is a problem. Some teacher, you will see them, they will not smile with students because they believe in that thing. Some teacher, you will see them, they smile with everyone because they don't believe in it. So, but the research will determine if the teacher relationship weaken academic performance or not. And so that's the example I gave now. So the number 2 is literature gap. Literature gap means that after reading your journals, after reading books, after reading articles, the mistake another researcher make in his book or article or journals, that mistake serve as a research problem that you need to do your research on. You know, the first one we say your personal interest or personal motivation or experience. The second one we say literature, which is from the book, literature gap. From book, from journals, from article. Understand? Topic that have not been fully explained serve as also as a how do you call research problem. Understand? Number 3, national development issues. What is happening in the country? Test. You see, somebody is asking if research problem is same thing as thesis. Can anyone answer that one for me, or I should answer it? There is a question in the
Thesis
comment.
is research you want to
Thank you very
bank
much.
on. And
Thank you very much. Your thesis is the research itself. Understand that? So the thesis is the research you want to do. Is the research you want to do itself. But here we are talking about the research problem. The problem that you want to study, you want to analyze systematically. Understand now? So I mentioned your personal interest, your literature gaps. I mentioned national development issue. What is happening in the country? Currently, banditry, kidnapping, insecurity. Understand? So you can do your research on banditry in the northeastern part of Nigeria, in the southern part of Nigeria. Understand now? Or you can do your research on the recent Tinubu law implementation in January, taxation in Nigeria. So that is things that's happening in the country. So people will be interested in it to listen. Even if you take a topic on the insecurity and just write it on Facebook, people being eager to read it because it is something that is happening at the moment. Understand? Number 4, social trends can also serve as a source of research problem. Jackpot, like me, I jackpot to UK. Why did I jackpot to UK? You understand now? So aside from that one, you will see some youth now. There are too much of youth on social media in politics nowadays. They don't want to leave place for the older people, although the older people don't also want to leave place for youth. So youth involvement in politics, you can just think about why is it that there are too much youth in politics nowadays. You can just think about that and bring out a research problem. Understand? So organizational problem. Understand? So in your company, look for something that is anomaly, something that is a problem in your company. You can bring it out you can just bring it out as a research problem. Understand? So, in short, research problem, it's from your personal interest or your literature gap or your, how do you call, national development issues or social trend or organizational issue. Understand? Now, step in formulating your research problem. How do you formulate your research problem? The step you need to pass through. Number one is you need to identify a broader problem. Understand? A broader interest. Something, think about something. Now, in the material I sent you, I give an example: cyber security or cyber crime in Nigeria. Cyber crime in Nigeria is a topic. Understand? That is a broader topic. That topic is big. Understand? And I say that topic, broader topic, you break the broader topic into a subtopic. You narrow the problem. We know that there is cybercrime in all parts of Nigeria, but you bring the broader topic into subtopic, narrow it down to a subtopic. Understand? You now bring it down. From cybercrime is a topic, you bring down cybercrime affecting financial institutions in Lagos. Understand? We know Yahoo guys, they operate everywhere. So cybercrime affecting financial institution in Lagos. But you will not stop there. You proceed again. You establish the literature, the topic, the subtopic with a literature. Understand now? Establish the problem through a literature. Check what some other scholars have mentioned, have written down regarding cybercrime in Nigeria or cybercrime in Lagos. Understand? You need to check also what other writers have penned down regarding this topic. Because when you do your research, you will not base your research on only what you think or what, as you said, that research does not come from assumption or it does not come from intuition only. So you need to base your research based on available literature. So you do the step 3 is you try to find out the available literature. Understand? Why the step 4 is you need to
sorry, please. Can you come back a bit? The network, I was off and on.
Okay. So we are trying to talk about the step in formulating your research problem. There are 5 steps in formulating your research problem. The number 1 is getting a broader interest, like a bigger interest. Understand now? And I give an example now. Let's say you want to study Yahoo, which is cyber crime in Nigeria, 419. So you not take cybercrime in Nigeria as a topic of interest. You want to understand that concept of cybercrime in Nigeria. That's step number 1, taking a broader topic. Step number 2, breaking the broader topic into subtopic by narrowing it down. When you narrow it down, you know you cannot study whole Nigeria. Whole Nigeria is too big for you alone to study. And due to time, you break it down to a state. Let's say cybercrime affecting institution in Lagos. That means you are centering your research problem in Lagos State alone, not the whole Nigeria. Although your broader interest was Nigeria as a country, but now you are breaking it down to only Lagos State. But after that one, the next thing you need to do is that you need to link that your research, your research problem to available literature. What has other scholars penned down regarding cybercrime in Nigeria, cybercrime in West Africa, cybercrime in the world, or cybercrime in Lagos? What did they pen down regarding it? Understand? So after that one, you now come back by stating your research problem in an understanding way, in a clear way, without any ambiguity. Understand? So, and the last one is formulate a research problem. I'll give an example in the material I sent you. I don't know whether you all have the material with you as we are talking. So you can check the example. And the 6th one is that 6th one is just like making sure that it is feasible enough to study. Understand? So it's just about ways you can formulate your research. You don't just bring, we talk about the sources of your research problem. Even if you have your personal motivation or your personal experience, professional experience, that doesn't define that it can be a research problem. You need to also pass through the step of looking at other people's literature to see if you can refine that your research problem into something understandable without any ambiguity. Okay, can I proceed? Can I proceed?
Okay.
She said no.
Yes.
Okay, say yes. Okay.
Yes, we can go ahead.
Now, research paradigms. Research paradigms. That's the next topic we want to talk about. Research paradigms. Who can tell me what is research paradigms? Research paradigm. I think in the last class I did, somebody asked a question if research paradigm is same thing as research design. Research paradigms. I'm sorry. Research paradigms. Okay, if no one is there to answer me, let me just continue. When you say research paradigm, it is known as the skeleton, the framework that guide a researcher understanding. Understand? The framework that guides a researcher's understanding of reality, knowledge, and the method used to do its research. Listen, which method will you employ to do your research? You know, when you want to build your house, foundation will come first. But the foundation, before the foundation will come first, they have to do soil tests to know if the type of foundation they will do. Understand? So the research paradigm is just telling us the framework the research you want to embark on how to be on. So it is the belief and assumption about how the research should be conducted. The belief and the assumption of how the research should be conducted and how your finding should be interpreted. So when you say research paradigms, you mean the belief and the assumption of how your research should be conducted, the belief and the assumption of how your research should be conducted and how your findings should be interpreted. That's the research paradigms. Understand? In social science, especially in international affairs and diplomacy, the common research paradigms are the positivism, the interpretivism, the pragmatism. Understand? So some people use constructivism also. So these are how your research to be conducted. Based on how it should be conducted, will now determine how your research is going to be interpreted. So, as I said, it is divided into three. Understand? I talk about positivist paradigms, interpretivist paradigms, and the pragmatic paradigms. I think there's another name for pragmatic. The lecturer, Professor Moved, mentioned it, but I can't remember again. He gave a name for that. I don't know.
I think he said critical.
Yeah, critical. Thank you very much. He said critical. That's on so critical. So thank you very much. So now who can explain what is positivist paradigms? Positivist paradigms. What is positivist paradigms? Based on your notes, based on your understanding, what is positivist paradigms? You know, I said the paradigms is just the belief and assumptions of how your research should be conducted and how your findings should be interpreted. Now, I said there are three type of research paradigms. We have the positivist, we have the interpretivist, and we have the pragmatism. And someone mentioned here that the pragmatism is the critical paradigms. Now, what is positivist paradigms? Anyone to help us?
Can I try?
Yeah, try.
Okay. Positivist paradigm can also be quantitative. Is a quantitative approach. It also deals with numbers, experiments, is measurable, and it believes that research is systematic.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll just add one word to it. So this type of research emphasize on objectivity. Why the other one emphasize on subjectivity? Subjectivity means that, when you see 1 + 1 in all parts of the world, 1 + 1 is 2, right? That is quantitative type of research. Quantitative, as you mentioned, quantitative type of research. Research that is quantitative, and that also is also known as the positivist paradigms. Understand now? Now, she has already given an example. That we use a systematic approach to do it, and it is with numbers.
Can you please come again? My network hanged.
So we're explaining the types of paradigms. Understand now? And I say paradigms is divided into 3: the positivist paradigms, the interpretive paradigms, and the pragmatism paradigms. And I asked who can explain positive paradigm, and she mentioned here that positivist paradigm is otherwise known as the quantitative overview paradigms. Understand? The quantitative paradigms. So, which means that that type of research deals with numbers, systematic approach. And I add to it that it deals with systematic approach, and it's also it has an objective assumption. Listen now, since it deals with numbers, you cannot treat number. 1 + 1 is 2. 1 + 1 cannot be 3, unless you want to use mago. So that is positivist paradigms. I mentioned that on the other hand, the interpretivist paradigms, that one is subjective. It doesn't deal with numbers. And another name for that one is qualitative overview of research. Understand? Now, so the interpretive paradigms, these tend to explain phenomenon. Understand now? As if you know the meaning of qualitative research, you should be able to understand interpretive paradigms. Understand? Why the pragmatism on its own is combining both methods, combining both qualitative and quantitative, critically combining both together to find an answer to a research. Okay, any question before I proceed, please? I know I'm a talkative, but if you want me to continue, we'll continue.
Sorry, maybe can you give us example? That is the last one.
Okay, pragmatic paradigms.
Yes.
Okay. Let's say, do you open the material I gave you? The material I gave you. I think I sent the material to everyone here.
I've not opened it yet, but
Okay.
I will start.
No problem. So, in the material, I mentioned that if you want to study police community relationship, you want to study the relationship between the police and the community using statistic in crime rate. Understand? You want to use statistic, and also you want to use interview. You understand? Statistic is quantitative, interview is qualitative. So you use statistic that deal with crime, and you also use interview. Do you understand?
Okay. Yes.
So that's the critical paradigm. So it's mixed method. Some people also call it mixed method. So because it deals with two paradigms, qualitative and quantitative. If it's qualitative alone, you use statistics to find the crime rate in a particular community. But if it's qualitative, you use interview. But if it's pragmatism, you use both methods. Do you understand now? Do you understand?
Yes. I understand now. Yeah. Thank you.
Can I proceed? You're welcome. Now, literature review. That's the next thing we want to talk about, literature review. Literature review is a systematic examination of existing scholarly work. The work of a scholar. You want to systematic examine it. What you are doing is literature review. That is why when you do your research, you have a place you put a reference. That reference you put, those names you put in there, it means that you've read the book or the write-up of that particular person. So what he did, that process, that thing he did is literature review. So I'll repeat it again. Literature review is a systematic examination of existing scholarly work relevant to your research problem. Understand? Systematic examination of scholarly work relevant to your research problem. You know, when you do your research problem, you are trying to find solution. Now, after finding solution in the step of formulating your research problem, we mentioned in step number 3 that you need to read literature. While reading literature relating to your research problem, you tend to investigate, examine, consult. You understand now? So the literature review is just like you are trying to examine what other people have talked regarding your own particular topic you want to discuss about. You understand? So it involves reading, analyzing, and synthesizing what others have written down. So that is why in all research you will see references. Referencing part shows that you've read, like you've touched some other books or some other scholars. So the process of reading another person's book systematically in examining some things, some thoughts, some concepts, that's the literature review. You understand? Now, the purposes of literature review. What are the purposes of literature review? Purpose of literature review. What are the purpose of literature review? The number one purpose of doing a literature review, that is anything that will push you to go and read another person's work. Anything that will push you to examine another person's work. That number one reason is you want to establish what is already known. You already know that there is Boko Haram in the northern part of Nigeria, and you want to establish the history of Boko Haram in Nigeria. So reading another person's book just to have a broader knowledge. Just to have knowledge about it. That's number one. Now, after reading it, establishing or identifying gaps. What is that writer? What did he not mention? Like, he did not mention this thing, oh, let me work on it. This writer did not mention this, let me work on it. So the identifying the gaps in your knowledge, what another writer did not mention, you are trying to find it. Understand? Avoiding duplication. You know, when you do your research, you copy from everywhere, but you must avoid plagiarism. You must not copy word for word. Understand? So the literature review will tell you that, oh, this writer has written something down on this one. Oh, this is how they write it. Even if you want to quote the writer, it should not be duplicating the work of the writer. So no duplication must exist when you do your research. When you do your research? So the literature review will help you not to duplicate another person's work. Understand? So you do not copy word for word the research of another person. Understand? So another thing is providing justification for your study. After writing like 20 pages, 50 pages, or 100 pages for your research, how do you want to justify it? References. The reference, which means that all the 20 pages you did for your research, if we check your reference, we can link it to a work that has to do with your research problem. Understand? And the literature review help you to select theory and method. If a scholar use quantitative research method to do his own research, and you later find some gaps, why not use both pragmatics? You use quantitative and qualitative so that you will fill in the gap. You understand? So based on your literature review, you can know the problems that occur in how you can fill the gap in another person's work. Understand? And it helps you to formulate your research question. So your literature review, after reading from other, you read journals, you read articles, you read books. After that one, it will help you to formulate your own research question. So we'll come to the part of what is research question later. In before we end, I want to end 9 p.m. Understand? So, what's the time in Nigeria, please?
8:40 p.m. now.
8:40.
8:40. That means I have like some minutes to be into 9 p.m. No problem. We are almost done with module 2. We started from module 1, so we are almost done with module 2. You understand? So what we did not cover today, why treating past question tomorrow, we'll cover it because the past question also talks about module 1, module 2, module 3. So tomorrow we are treating past question of 801. So then we start from the beginning and we treat it together from 801. I've already sent you that document. Now, how to conduct an excellent literature review. How to conduct an excellent literature review. We've already said that literature review is a systematic examination of existing scholarly work, and so that is relevant to your own research problem. It's like, let me just give an example now. Mr. Yusuf is a scholar. He has a book on insecurity he's from the north. He has a book on insecurity in the north. And me, I'm from the south, and I want to write something on insecurity in any other part of the north, not where he come from. Understand? So his book is going to be relevant, even if I'm not studying his own state. Let's say he study Borno, for instance, and I want to study Kaduna. So far as I'm studying Kaduna, he's studying Borno. His book is going to be relevant to me. Understand? Because it talks about insecurity. It might not talk about my own state, but it talks about the state I want to conduct research on, but it's going to be relevant for me. So, me reading his book, what I'm doing is the literature review. You understand? What I'm doing is the literature review. So now we are not talking about how to conduct an excellent literature review. How can you review someone's work excellently? Number 1, locate academic source. You need to locate books, articles, journals, understand? Materials. Locate academic source. Last time I said you can go to Google Scholar. I think one of our lecturer, Professor Movet David, he said he has a profile on Google Scholar. I think he has around 18 books, write-up on Google Scholar. Even you, as you are doing your master's, you can try to create your own page on Google Scholar. It's like creating a page on Facebook or creating a page on TikTok. So when you create a page, the only difference is that place you put your write-up. You put your write-up, and it's like they have like a body that will look into it before they accept your write-up there. Understand? So number 1 is locating academic source. If you want to do your research, which book do you want to read? Where will you get those books? Understand? Where will you get your journals? Understand? Or your thesis? So locate the books first. After that one, read carefully. After you let's say you have 10 books, after you locate all the book or the articles or the journals, you need to read carefully. What is the argument of the author? What did the author mention? What did the author forget to mention? And what is the contradiction in what the author mentioned? So after reading it, you will now organize everything into themes. If you look at the past question I sent to you, you will see that I organize them into themes, which means that those that resemble each other, let us put it together. This one resembles this one. Let us put this one together. Let us put this one together. Understand? So after putting it into themes, you now synthesize it into a narrative. Based on the themes, you now write something on it. So if you have the time, I'll just advise you to print out the material I sent you. You will see how I put the examples. You understand? So just read it. It's important. Don't rely on past question only. Read the notes. Understand? Now, any question for me before I proceed, please? Any question for me before I proceed? Question, observation. Should I proceed? Should I proceed? Thank you very much. We still have like, I think 15 minutes. Yeah. Theoretical framework is the next thing we need to look into. Theoretical framework. Theory, framework. Like the frame of your window. Framework, frame of your bed. So theoretical framework. So the theoretical framework, that one is it provides conceptual foundation for a research study. Understand? It consists of the method, the model, or concept that explain the relationship among variables and guide you into interpret your research. Which method do you want to use to do your research? Understand? Which method, which model do you want to apply? Or which concept do you want to use in your research? So because the models, the theory, the concept you want to use will help you to explain the relationship among variables that are in your research and guide you to interpret your findings. Understand? Its theoretical framework helps the researchers to organize their thinking. It helps the researcher to organize their thinking, formulate hypotheses. So if you want to formulate an hypothesis or an assumption, or how do you call it, a prediction, theoretical framework will help you to formulate your prediction. And then it will now link it to an empirical observation. Let's say now you take a topic from a broader topic, you want to break it to how do you call it, to a subtopic. So theoretical framework will help you to do that one. I'll give an example now. In international affairs and diplomacy, understand now, in this course we are doing, especially those people who are diplomats and the likes, understand now. Theoretical framework are mostly drawn from political science. Understand? Most of our things are drawn from political science, international relations, sociology, economics. Understand? Example now, let's talk about, you say sometimes, I think you know about the topic, the concept of realism, liberalism, constructivism. You understand that concept? Those concepts are used in theoretical framework. In that course material I gave you, in that material I gave you, I said example used mostly in political science and international relations. Number one, realism. Realism is useful to us because it helps us to understand power relations, war, and diplomacy. But on the other hand, liberalism helps us to understand how to negotiate, understand how to cooperate among people, how to negotiate. Realism talks about power, war, and how do you call it, diplomacy. But idealism talks about idealism talks about negotiation, cooperation, and the likes. One of the lecturer gave you a question. I don't know which lecturer. The lecturer said that they should try to analyze Donald Trump, something like Donald Trump. I don't know whether anyone is here that did an assignment on Donald Trump. So I think I did it.
The Trump threat on the military, something in Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Using the insight of foreign policy analysis, that we should analyze Donald Trump's threats.
Thank you very
of
much.
Invading military threats in Nigeria.
So military threat. You know that even when we talk about military threat now, you need to use the realism point of view in your research, even though you will use another research theoretical framework, but you will use realism there because realism talks about war, the diplomacy, how do you call this thing? Yeah, it talks about war, diplomacy, and military power. So that if they ask this kind of if they ask you this kind of question, you already know that Donald Trump talking about soldiers, realism is used. You will not go and use another theory. You already know that realism is used. Even though you will use another theory, realism must be included in your work because that one explains better why Donald Trump, you need to send military troops to Nigeria. You understand? So there are a lot of theory. Understand? There are a lot of theory, but as I said, I advise you to check the material I send you so you can go over it. Now, question. Question, please. Any question for me? Question for me? Any question for me? Any question for me?
So please, can you quickly just explain the ethical principles of research, because
Thank
I
you
quite
very much.
joined late.
Thank you very much. Ethical principles of research. Now, I will just throw this question first. Anybody to explain what is ethics? What is ethics itself? Anybody? Who is talking, please? Who is talking? I'm not seeing the person. Samuel. Okay, Samuel. Okay, ethics.
Ethics are rules or guidelines
Okay.
that we follow for, I think in this instance, that a researcher follows for his research.
Thank you very much. So now, see, ethics is the central pillars in research, particularly in studies that involve human participation. And so, you know, a doctor will not go to a surgeon will not go to the labor room without wearing glove, right? That is an ethics in the medical line. In research, we have same thing, same guidelines, principles that the researchers must respect or must follow. You understand? So, since you deal with human, there has to be some things that you need to follow. Understand? That is where we mention about the ethical principle the researchers must follow. Can anyone list that for me, please? Hello?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
I said ethical approval. Ethical approval, the researcher must follow. What?
Are you talking about the ethical principles?
Yeah.
I say privacy and confidentiality.
Privacy and confidentiality. It means that you, the researcher, you must keep the privacy of the participant involved in your research. I'll give an example now. A banker have access to see how much is in your account, have access to see your address, your number, but that banker will not expose it because it goes against the ethics of his or her work. A customer service advisor will see some sensitive information regarding the customer, but it has no right to disclose it outside because it goes against the ethics of his or her work. So, privacy and confidentiality. Another one, please.
Free and informed consent.
What?
Free and informed consent.
Free and informed consent. You, the researcher, you must give the will, freedom to the participant involved. Let them know what they want to do. Let them give a consent to what they want to do. So let them know why you are doing the research. What is the benefit of this research? Listen, they must give you the consent to go ahead or not go ahead. If they ask you to protect their privacy, protect it. If they ask you to go ahead, if they say, okay, can they withdraw from your research if they are not comfortable at any time? If you say yes, that means they can withdraw at any time if they are not comfortable with your research. Understand? Another one, which one do we have?
We have respect for vulnerable groups such as the marginalized groups, children, elderly, people with disability, refugees, and prisoners.
Respect for the vulnerable. Sometimes you might, especially in our own field like this, let's say you are working for an organization that they need to do and go and do research in a refugee camp. You know, when you go to the refugee camps, there are some things you will see that your mask must not see outside. So you have to respect these people involved in your research, internally displaced people, or victim of conflict. You must respect the children, the elder, the mentally deranged people, the prisoners, or the refugees. You must respect them because they are involved in your research. If you don't respect them, you are putting yourself and your institution in jeopardy. Okay, what follows, please?
We have truthfulness, honesty.
Truthfulness, veracity, which means that all the thing you will say, like let's say you want to go and do research and you are lying to them that this research you are doing is for something, is for A, whereas it's not for A, it's for B. So you must be truthful. Let your research, your participant, those people involved in your research, know the purpose, the reason why you are doing the research. Do not lie to them. Even aside from that one, you yourself do not lie in your research. So the veracity, truthfulness, you must be truthful enough in conducting your research. Okay, what else do we have?
Justice and
Autonomy.
inclusiveness.
Yeah, and inclusiveness.
What? Inclusiveness.
Justice and
Justice and
inclusiveness.
inclusiveness.
Justice and inclusiveness. All groups should be treated equally. Fair play must be involved. You want to do research in the northeast part of Nigeria, for instance, now, and you know there is many tribes, and you just focus on Hausas. Maybe outside they have Fulani. After Fulani, there's another. You understand? You not focus on only one. So justice and inclusiveness must involve in your research. If you know that you are studying the research that involve that whole particular zone, that means maybe you can take 2 Fulani man, 2 Hausa man, 2 Bororo. I don't know them. I don't know who is there, but I'm sorry, but I don't know. But you just need to take the tribes involved. So as your samples to represent the whole people living there. Justice and inclusion. That must be fair play in your research. Understand? Another one?
Autonomy.
Autonomy. Who is talking on Jubilee?
Selena.
Selena. Okay. What is autonomy?
I mean, it's the right of the individual, the participants, to determine their own course of action.
The right of your participants, those people involved in your research. What is their right? They must know their right. Now, they must know their right. The right to say what they want. Do not show my face, so that's my right. If you show my face, I will sue you. Now, you see today, even those people that do interview, straight interview, when they do interview and they ask people, they put allegedly. Because they know that if they know what.
Yeah, we are back.
You are back. What happened?
Welcome back.
What happened? You are
The
back.
class has ended. The other class has ended.
Ended. Okay, maybe
Yes.
just. And it's not. It was not up to 30 minutes.
No, it was almost an hour.
It is 1 hour.
Are you sure?
Yes.
It's not up to because we're still in 8 o'clock.
I don't know. I was
We're
just
still in 8 rather.
I was just talking. I don't know that is what up to an hour. So, Mr. Samuel.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Perfect.
Thank you very much. If you understand, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's already 9. I know you are tired. Me, I'm not tired though. I'm used to talking too much. I'm not tired. So should we stop or should we continue? Or should we continue tomorrow with 801 practical past question and answer? We treat the past question and answer. So some of the things we've done module 1 and module 2 this night. And so it's only in the last part of module 2 we didn't touch, but we've done module 1 and module 2 this night. And some of the things we didn't mention, which is in module 3, we are going to mention in the past question and answer tomorrow. So if you are okay, we can stop. If you are okay, we can continue. All depends on should we continue or we should stop, and tomorrow
You can continue.
we can continue.
I think we can
If you want
continue
us to continue, say
tomorrow.
hi.
Continue tomorrow.
We can continue tomorrow because
Hi.
it's past midnight already.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. People are tired.
And then tomorrow is better.
Tomorrow is better.
Okay. So tomorrow we
Obligation
take the
return.
past question and answer. Please, I'll just advise if you can get somewhere to just print the document I send you. Just print it out, or you can write it and then we discuss. So as we are talking, if you don't understand something there, you can ask me and I'll explain to you. Because there are some things that is explained in the material I sent you that I just briefly talk about it in the past question and answer. Why does there are some things I explain extensively in the past question and answer, you understand? So we are here to learn. We are here to educate ourselves, you understand? So this is the end of tonight class. Let me just pause the recording. Stop recording.